Do you know where your child is right now? Not physically, spiritually, because there is a type of protection that does not depend on you being by their side. That does not depend on a camera, a phone tracker, none of that. And most parents never learn how to use this power. Today, you will. I know what that feeling is like. Your child leaves the house, goes to school, goes to a friend's place, goes to work, goes on a trip, and you are just there, in the middle of your life, with that weight in your chest, that thought that won't go away. Is he okay? Is she safe? And no matter how many times you call, no matter how many texts you send, there is a part of protection that a phone cannot give. There is a part that only God can reach. That is what we are talking about today. About how prayer can create real cover over your children's lives, no matter where they are, no matter if they are in the same city or on the other side of the world. We live in a world that wants to convince parents that control is protection. Put a tracker on the phone. Keep an eye on social media. Call every hour. And all of that has its place. Of course it does. But no app in the world has access to your child's heart. No camera can see what is happening on the inside. And then that moment comes. The one every parent knows. The moment when you simply cannot control things anymore. Your child grows up. They start making their own decisions. They face pressures you don't even know exist. They face people you have never seen in your life. And what do you do with that? Do you stay anxious? Do you lie awake at night imagining the worst? Do you stay stuck in a cycle of worry that doesn't let you live and doesn't protect anyone either? Or do you use the only resource that goes beyond what your eyes can see? The truth is, most parents were never taught how to truly pray for their children. They know they should pray. They know prayer is important. But when it comes time to sit down and talk to God about their child, out comes the same old request. A generic prayer, without faith, without strength, almost like an obligation. And the result, the feeling that nothing changed. The feeling that prayer is not working. But the problem is not the prayer. The problem is that we were never taught how to pray with intention, with specificity, with real faith. Let's start with something most people overlook. Praying for your children does not begin with the child. It begins with you. Before you ask for protection over your child's life, you need to take your position. You need to remember who you are before God. You are a father. You are a mother. And that is not just a human title. In the Bible, parents had spiritual authority over their children. Job, for example, would wake up in the morning and intercede for his children every single day. It was routine. It was a priority. And the text says Job did this because he thought, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." He didn't wait to find out what was going on. He prayed preventively. He prayed as a covering, not as a response to a crisis. That is already the first step. Stop praying only when something bad happens, and start praying as an act of daily maintenance, of daily covering. Now, how does this prayer work in practice? First, pray using their name. Do not pray for "my children" in a generic way. Call them by name. Lord, I bring Noah before you today. Something shifts when you say the name. The prayer gains weight, gains specificity, and God knows each one of them by name. He is not a generic God. He is personal. Second, pray for their mind. The greatest battle your child will face in life will not be physical. It will be mental. It is in thoughts that wars begin. It is in the mind that fear settles in, that doubt grows, that the pressure of others starts to shape who they believe they are. Pray asking God to guard your child's mind, that they not be shaped by the world, that they have discernment to tell what is good from what is a trap, that they know how to say no when they need to say no. Romans 12:2 says exactly that. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You can pray that word over your child's life, literally. Third, pray for the relationships they don't have yet. This is powerful, and very few people do it. The people who will come into your child's life next year, you haven't met them yet. The friends, the co-workers, the boyfriend, the girlfriend. They already exist, and God already knows who they are. You can pray about this. You can ask God to push away the people who will bring bad influence and draw close the people who will build alongside them. You can pray about this before it even happens. That is prayer working outside of time. Fourth, pray for physical protection, yes, but without fear. There is a difference between praying in faith and praying in fear. When you pray in fear, you start listing every possible danger, practically declaring that they will happen. Lord, protect him from accidents, from violence, from sickness. And you end up feeling more and more anxious as you pray. Pray in faith. Lord, I trust that your angels are with my child wherever they are. I trust in your protection. I release them into your hands. That is different. That is declaring faith, not amplifying fear. Psalm 91 is one of the most powerful prayers that exists for this purpose. It speaks of protection under the shadow of God's wings, of angels that guard in all your ways, of protection from dangers you cannot even see. You can pray that psalm over your child's life with their name out loud, every single day. Fifth, pray for their identity. This might be the most urgent prayer of all, and the least practiced. The world is constantly trying to tell your child who they are. Social media, friends, the media, the culture, all of it is shaping the way they see themselves. And if the foundation is weak, if they don't know who they are in God, they will build their identity on top of what the world says. Pray for your child to know they are loved. Pray for them to know they have value, not because of what they produce, not because of likes, not because of human approval, but because God created them and knows them. Pray for them to find their own identity in something the world cannot take away. Now, I need to tell you something that might completely change the way you understand all of this. There is a verse in Luke 22 that is almost unsettling because of how real it is. Jesus was about to be arrested. He knew what was coming. And what did he say to Peter? Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. To me, that verse is one of the most powerful in the entire Bible when it comes to protecting someone from a distance. Jesus was not by Peter's side when Peter was tempted. Jesus was praying for him from afar, and that prayer was what held Peter together. Not completely. Peter still failed. He still denied Jesus 3 times. But Jesus' prayer kept Peter's faith from breaking completely. It kept him from walking away for good. That is what your prayer does for your children. You will not stop them from going through hard moments. You will not eliminate their mistakes. You will not create a bubble around them where nothing bad ever happens, because that would not even be good for them. Growth comes from challenge, but your prayer is what will hold their faith together when everything gets hard. It is what will bring them back when they get lost. It is what creates an invisible anchor that the world cannot pull out. Have you ever prayed for them like that? With that level of intention? With that kind of clarity? Many parents love their children more than their own lives, but have never stopped to pray with that depth. And it is not because they don't love them. It is because no one ever taught them. It is because we live in a busy world that puts everything before prayer. But starting today, you can change that. Let me give you something practical to take from here. Starting today, set aside 5 minutes of your day, just 5, to sit down, close your eyes, and pray for your children by name. It does not need to be a sermon. It does not need to be out loud, if you don't want it to be. But it needs to be intentional. Pray for their mind. Pray for the relationships that are still coming. Pray for their identity. Declare protection with faith, not with fear. And remember that you are not doing this because you are desperate. You are doing this because you have access to a God who sees where you cannot see, who reaches where you cannot reach, and who loves your children even more than you do. The distance between you and your child, whether physical or emotional, is not an obstacle to God. It is just one more place where He is already present. You cannot be everywhere, but your prayer can. If this video touched your heart, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one.